There is no bigger story in the world than the ongoing coronavirus outbreak, but if keeping up with all the news is wearing you out, imagine being a medical journalist who's been tracking this from the start. Adam Reilly has more.
Kai Kupferschmidt has been covering the coronavirus nonstop for Science magazine, and recently he vented on Twitter. I've reported on plenty of outbreaks, including Ebola, Kupferschmidt tweeted. But with COVID-19, I'm experiencing anguish I've not really felt before. His tweets went, well, viral, and Kupferschmidt says he's glad they did.
Just to make people understand how serious I personally take it.
And he adds how maddening it is to watch crucial facts being ignored, like how quickly death rates are going to double.
I talk with experts every day that say these things. And then you see, politicians or other people making decisions not take that into account or not take it seriously. And that's an incredibly, frustrating thing.
Also feeling the strain, Helen Branswell, who covers infectious diseases for STAT.
We're facing a tough ride, and having a sense anyway of what's coming, sometimes it's a bit hard.
Branswell recalls an interview in January in which she told an American epidemiologist the case count in China was bigger than he thought.
And I told it to him, and he went, oh, it really was like a gut punch for him.
Both reporters have some advice for the rest of the media. Branswell says stop covering past mistakes and prepare the public for what's ahead.
What people really need to know is what to expect, what they can do, and how to get ready for what's going to face us.
Kupferschmidt wants reporters to focus on what's really at stake, even if that means leaving their comfort zone.
I think there's a danger of sticking to the kind of area that you know best. So you end up asking about the, political implications or the stock market. And I think you just have to accept that as a journalist, you have to, you're going to have a steep learning curve.
And not much time to get up to speed.
He just really struck me. Adam had seen some of his writings earlier in the week and really wanted to contact him. He was in Brazil, but even the point that he makes that reporters often cover beats, whether it's politics or the environment or the economy, and you get stuck in your rut and you keep going back to that. He's saying we got to break out, we got to learn more, we got to be different. And he's saying, talk about not sticking to protocol. This afternoon at his live press conference, President Trump shook hands with 3, at least, that we saw of the attendees at that press conference, including the CEOs of Walmart, Target, and someone from the CDC. And after having just put out, a list of things that people need to do, including not shaking hands.
Well, not someone from the CDC, the
head of the CDC.
And right after he shook hands with him, then Mike Pence got up and said, we must practice good behavior, like washing your hands and What? This is right after.
Yeah.
I'm flabbergasted.
It's unbelievable. I think we all kind of sense that the tide has been turning the last few days. We've gone from our governmental leadership acting like this is mainly a political problem to finally getting somewhat in gear. And I think it's difficult for the media to report on stories like this in an intelligent, sustained way without some leadership from the top, and that seems to be coming now. There was a terrific episode of The Daily this week that the New York Times puts out on the draconian steps that they've taken in China and South Korea to get this under control. And it does make you wonder whether we're going to have to do something like that here in order to flatten the curve, as all the experts are saying.
I spoke to someone last night who said that they have a mother-in-law in China. She's been under house arrest for 42 days, and they are not sick.
That's right.
So that's what's going on in China that we don't really know about.
Yep.
It's a different culture, obviously, and so things are a little different. But I do respect reporters who have been covering this, and I think things have changed. It's evolved very much in just the last 24 hours, even today, with this, I think, general acknowledgement by our government, by the president, that this is a problem. We have to have a plan. We're not going to soft pedal it anymore. We're not going to be dismissive. things have to change, and we saw it today. But I think in large part it comes from media pressure. Not to say that the media has been doing a great job, but I think pressure and good reporting, like the two people we saw in Adam's piece, and others. There's a guy, and I forget his name now, who's been on CNN reporting from Wuhan since the beginning of this. He's done some amazing reporting, first-hand reporting, things like showing how people at KFC in China are handling this. And he's been very fearless and I think forthright in his reporting, and it's been helpful.
You know, it's not easy. It's an adjustment to remember no handshaking if you're used to handshaking. Having said that, the president doesn't seem to be very big on modeling behavior to the public of any kind, really. He just does what he does. But to the point of the lack of focus of some of the reporting, to some extent, maybe it's a tribute to how far medical science has come and how all the health advances we've had, that most TV stations don't have a full-time medical reporter right now.
Or a science reporter.
WBZ has Dr. Malika Marshall. She's the only, terrific. Back in the day, Dr. Timothy Johnson. And
Callie Crossley.
Well, there you go. Bingo. So that's part of the problem.
And science in particular, or science and technology. They don't have people on those beats.
And, you know, but it isn't new that we kind of drop the ball or have problems when it comes to handling science. Think of all the studies that turn out to be bogus that get picked up and uncritically touted. By
and nobody figures out who wrote them. You know, the wine industry supported, drink 3 glasses of red wine a day.
And it's good for you, right?
Yeah.
That's true, right? Yeah. Well, you know, at the same time, there has been a lot of terrific reporting on this. People have to act as intelligent news consumers and seek it out.
I think the issue for a lot of us is some of the misinformation that's been put out by some of our colleagues as well. You know, just
we're going to be getting to that.
Well, okay. I mean, that's the thing that just is very, very, very upsetting. But with regard to what people have been doing well, I think it took a minute to really focus on one of the big issues, and the continuing big issue that the president tried to address this afternoon is the lack of tests and the lack of testing. Now, we'll see with whatever he laid out today with the number of corporate entities, whether or not this will speed up the process, which is what Dr. Fauci and everybody else has been saying we have to have. We don't know who's sick. We can't figure out what to do until we know.